Welcome back to the second episode of the DYNAMO Show, the show that features entrepreneurs from around the globe who are living well and doing good. Without further ado, we're going to bring you to our first guest. I've known this gentleman for 8 to 10 years. Amazing person. High integrity. I'm honored to know him. I'm going to introduce my good friend, Andrew Judson. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here, James.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm so pleased, first off, to see you again. It's been, what, 2-3 years?
It's been about 3 years. Yeah, I got married, had a set of twins in that time, and of course, you're moving up. You got some big things going on.
Yeah, I'm having fun, man.
That's
having
awesome.
fun. Yeah, it's just such a joy to be able to interview, movers, shakers, doers such as yourself. And you were a mover, shaker, and doer 10 years ago. So I could just imagine now, with all the wisdom nuggets that you've gained over the past 10 years, let's take it back maybe 10 years. Maybe share, with our audience a little bit about, where we met and how we got to this spot.
Yeah, well, James and I have worked together in many capacities before. We met competing on the same stage in fame shows, and we did the Chin International, fun stuff like that. And, back then we were shaving our arms and legs and getting our six packs going. I think James was down to 3% body fat at one point. And so that was a fun life. And both of us have moved in that direction where we helped a lot of athletes together, really, So with your fitness company before, we worked with tons of athletes, had a lot of fun. And you actually channeled me into a lot of other people that brought me a lot of business as well. So I'm in forever debt to you, and I'm glad to be part of this too.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Very exciting
Thank
times.
you for taking care of them, And Andrew happens to be one of those guys that would send me this random check in the mail or this random email money transfer. Oh, by the way, hey, you made some money, and not too many people do that. So you've always been way up there in the books of integrity for me. So I'm honored to be working with you now as the new position, which we'll get into in a second.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was nutrition. I know you're one of the top nutritionists in the world that I know of, and I know what you've done. I know what you're capable of. I've seen the cover models that you've created. I've seen the champions that you've created. And it's a small army of them, to be honest with you. So what do you see when you look at the current state of North American nutrition? What needs to change?
Well, it's pretty sad these days, and a lot of us walk around in North America in a very acidic state. Our nutrition and our diet is left to the vices of fast food, on-the-go stuff, and it's poor quality food, and it's in a very dire state at the moment. And especially for the entrepreneur, we're on-the-go people.
We are.
You're flying all over the world. I've got venues here, there, and everywhere, and just the everyday office worker, entrepreneur, they got their office, they're like grabbing a bagel on the go and coffee, they're forgetting to drink water. So
it's true.
When we turn to society and what's left around us, we're not getting any help from the media or any kind of
the media isn't helping?
Food, no, not at all. You see all these commercials with McDonald's, all this stuff's ingrained in your, take a break, life is good, all this stuff. And we forget to make the healthy choices. They're out there, they're hard to find, but what we need to do is teach people and educate them on how to make those choices and actually where to find that food. Where do you find it?
Where do you find it? And so a big thing is price. I always get the price objection, but it's so expensive to eat healthy. What would you say to that?
Well, there's ways around that. There's a dirty dozen as far as organic fruits and vegetables that you need to get. Some you can get away with not being organic. Some, you definitely want to be organic because they're heavily sprayed and stuff like that. If you go to a butcher and find antibiotic, hormone-free stuff, and you go negotiate, I want to buy 8 pounds of chicken and 5 pounds of bison or ground beef, Angus fish. If you buy in bulk, you can usually haggle a good butcher down to a certain price, so it ends up being the same as if you were to go to Sobeys or Zayre's or something like that.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, so it can be, you make an investment into your long-term health. It can be a little bit more expensive to eat organic, but eating out every day is also expensive, right? And people do that too, and they forget, if you have 3 coffees, you're eating out, that adds up as well, right?
I would say it's the best investment you can make.
It is.
Putting that
absolutely.
oxygen mask back on you, and that's what we focus on.
That's
food,
a good point.
fitness, two things that we're going to talk about in a second with yourself, food and fitness, family, finances, and fun. That's our 5 F word system that we focus on here at Dynamo. Let's go back to the nutrition part of it,
Okay.
the food part of it. So when individualizing a plan, what are the factors that you need to consider when making a decent nutrition plan, we'll call it? Diet, I like to say it starts with die.
Yeah,
I like using
exactly.
the word nutrition plan, and other than the common sense plan, what suggestions would you give our audience?
Well, the fine balance is trying to figure out who you are. So we have a 200-point questionnaire, very extensive. It gets into sleep patterns, how much you're up per night, your stress levels at work and at home personally. It gets into factors of how many times a day you're eating, what you're eating, what your fitness goals are, what your hopes and dreams are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a lifestyle rather than a diet. 96% of diets don't work, and you end up gaining most of the weight back, if not more.
All these fad diets.
My 2 schools of thought, James, is to boil it down to this: nutrient timing and body type analysis. No 2 people are the same. Mm-hmm. We can categorize people into ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph, which are the 3 body types. But a lot of people fall into the cracks there as well. Mm-hmm. So we got to adhere to that. Mm-hmm. And certain people don't digest things as well as others. So we may limit certain things, but certainly not eliminate anything, because you got to live a good life. You want to go and have that glass of wine with your friends.
You do.
You want to go to that event that there's going to be some bad food. You want to have that food, but move on the next day, right? So just enjoy your life. And nutrient timing is the other thing, where you want to make sure you're fueled up before your activity, replenished afterwards. Even eating the right things before bed and when you wake up can keep you in an anabolic state all day and keep you in a fat burning zone all night, right? So
speaking of timing, what would you say, entrepreneurs such as ourselves, and some of the ones that we work with, these busy CEOs and rock stars and celebrities that you and I work with, they have no time.
Yes.
Their time management is chaotic, and to get them to focus an hour on themselves, with this busy schedules and flying around and in between meetings, what would you suggest for the busy entrepreneur? The
busy entrepreneur is at a disadvantage for sure, if you're flying especially. If you're at home and you're just, you work within a city, there's a lot of services out there now, mm-hmm. where you can get food brought to your doorstep, or you can pick it up.
This is true.
Some of them are even organic, and if you can afford that, that's definitely an option. If you can't, I say your best friends are a steamer and a slow cooker. You can cook many meals in about, a steamer takes about 15-20 minutes on the spot, but you can leave a slow cooker up. You throw in some sweet potatoes, vegetables, a roast or a chicken. You wake up in the morning, there's 4 servings ready to go.
That's right. You know what my best friend is?
What's that?
The NutriBullet.
That's right.
The NutriBullet.
Right.
It's a prerequisite with my clients. They have to pick up a NutriBullet. I think they sell them at Walmart for like $128. 900 watts of energy.
Yeah.
Really good. It's an extractor, so it really blends decent.
Yeah.
And then we basically want to get a alkaline water. We want to get them started on alkaline water and the NutriBullet.
No, that's very important.
So online training. Okay, let's talk about that for a sec.
Sure.
As the new Dynamo Wellness Director, high five for that, my friend. Welcome
awesome
to the team. The Dynamo Wellness Director is going to be presenting online personal training programs. Share a little bit about that.
That's
quickly.
right. So we're going from food now into fitness, and what we're focusing on, and I've been doing this for quite some time now, is we have an app. So you hear online training. What is it? 10 years ago, I would be writing out an email with certain exercises for people to do, but Susie, who's 40, who's never worked out, has 3 kids, does not know what a lat pull down is or a bench press, and there's no diagrams back then, or you do it really old school, pasting everything together.
Meat and potatoes
but
stuff.
Now, so I worked with athletes, people that knew what the exercises were. Now we have the technology. We have 7,000 exercises. We can drag and drop them. We can make them into circuits. If you have 0 equipment, we have 1,000 exercises that we can use. right? If you have a ball and dumbbells, it's a big demographic of ours, you know, and a lot of entrepreneurs, that's all they have at home.
Accessible to the world.
Yeah, exactly. Or they got a condo gym upstairs, or some sort of gym membership with a full thing. So we got the 7,000 exercise. We personalize, custom make the workouts, flip them every month. They send in their measurements. There's videos on how to take your measurements, your pictures, all that kind of stuff. So if you're James, busy entrepreneur, I only got 30 minutes a day, if that, Andrew, to exercise. So we're going to get you through some circuits, some high intensity interval stuff, quick shake on your go, you know, and then maybe you'll pick up some food from a delivery service. Maybe you'll have your assistant bring you some. That's probably more along the lines of what you got going on. Or maybe you're diligent enough to have, you know, your loved one or yourself the night before to pack up a few meals, apples, almonds, and away you go for your day, right?
And you're available to coach these entrepreneurs that come through our network now on the food and the fitness. You know, being the wellness director for the company now, you're going to be accessible. So what we're going to do is we're going to share, you know, how to get a hold of Andrew, and you know, check it out at dynamoentrepreneur.com under the Dynamo Food and the Dynamo Fitness pillars. We're going to have nutrition plans and exercise plans available for you, the busy entrepreneur, you know, the leaders, the small business owners that want to live well and do good in the world. On a final note, Andrew, just, you know, if you care to share, you know, 20 seconds of where you're going. What are your dreams? What's next? Well,
I mean, I've had some serious thoughts about creating a ranch where people go to, and they, you know, we could deal with people that have weight problems emotionally, physically. You know, we could get some life coaches. Steve's coming up here shortly. He'll tell you a bit about his life coaching. But, you know, have a staff where you can deal with emotional problems with eating, because it's a lot larger and bigger than you think, right? People that have addictions, that try to get them to a new addiction of fitness. You know, I was thinking of an organic farm, a big ranch. It's, you know, it's 5 years forward, but, you know, lining myself up with Dynamo and you know, people like you, James, the sky is the limit.
I love it.
And we can get this going.
Andrew, thank you so much. You know, we have to head to a commercial break. You know, we're going to see you, you know, working on all these plans for all of our
and
dynamos.
Sorry, James, you can sign up at dynamo.additionalnutritional.com.
That's right.
And we can get you started right away.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome, buddy.
Sounds good. All right, well, we're off to a short commercial break, and we are going to be back with a very exciting guest. See you soon. Welcome back to episode 2 of the DYNAMO Show. Wasn't that a spectacular interview with Mr. Andrew Judson? We have another very special guest, a very dear friend of mine. Without further ado, let's introduce Tracey McLeod to the show. So good to see you. You know, it's been what, I don't know, 48 to 72 hours. I haven't seen you. You've been buried deep in this wonderful project that we'll share with the viewers in a little bit.
Oh
but
my gosh,
first,
yes.
I would love to know about Tracey. You know, they call you Super T. Who is Super T?
All right, thanks. Super T is, there's a big story around Super T. First and foremost, I'm the mother of 2 adult children, both over 20. I have a son and a daughter who inspire me every day, and I'm just so very proud and full of love for them. Aside from that, from a career standpoint, you know, growing up and going through high school, I always wanted to be in radio and TV broadcast. My parents said, no, it's too dangerous, it's too cutthroat, do something nicer. So I listened to them and I went through school, and you know, as luck would have it and as the universe works, I found out that there was a local radio station starting in my town. So I did some investigating.
What town?
Orangeville.
Orangeville, okay.
Orangeville. Shout out to the big O.
Yeah.
And you know, met the owner of the radio station and said, you know, I want in, I want to get involved. And open arms, I got in at the board of directors. I was hosting my own show a few nights a week. I was producing, I was writing, I was copywriting, and then I got into sales. And I did this for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Knew that this was where I needed to be. From there, the owner of the radio station introduced me to the owner of a TV station.
Yeah.
Got into television for 10 years selling advertising.
So this isn't new to you.
And then not new to me at all. And then, you know, from there into newspaper.
Yeah.
So I did the trifecta.
Okay.
You know, freelance writing, advertising, sales, looking after people's needs, everybody from the small independents to the massive international companies. So it's an amazing ride.
A nice journey. So with all this experience, how would you say this helps you in your current endeavors?
You know what, it's funny. I mean, coming from a very corporate world, right? There's processes and there's, you know, positioning statements and all of the things that truthfully drove me crazy are actually pretty darn essential.
Yes, this
So,
is true.
you know, I'm taking the discipline and the accountability and the measurability and all the fabulous things that corporations just naturally have, and I'm implementing them in, you know, and twirling them around with the entrepreneurial spirit.
That's awesome.
And it's phenomenal. I love it.
It's a different vehicle, you know, it's kind of cut from the same cloth in regards to the processes and a lot of the processes from that disciplined world of corporate now, bringing it to entrepreneurialism, you know, and because entrepreneurs operate in such a different manner, you know, they're more free spirits, you know, but to have that structure in place for them is so important. One of the things that we do at Dynamo is we support them with that structure. And I have to congratulate you on your new position as the director of Dynamo Publishing and Dynamo Creatives. High five for you. Which is absolutely awesome. You know, I know you've been working on one of our latest books at Dynamo Diaries, and the 21 authors just love you. Like the feedback we're getting, like I am so honored and so grateful to have you in this particular role because you're just a gem. You're a gem. You're super T.
Thank you.
So, you know, what would you say? How does someone that's actually interested in writing or contributing or sharing what's in their heart, what's in their head, how do we get that purposeful message out to the world? Could you share with our audience a little bit about how they do that?
You know what, absolutely. And I can tell you straight up, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have an inner voice, which we all do, you can get it out, right? That can be translated beautifully into a book, into a chapter, you know, and it's so powerful. You know, 20 years ago, everybody used a business card, right? That was what you used, you know, this was your signature piece. Not so much anymore. You put down a book or you put down an anthology where you're a co-author in, that, my friend, is power.
No one's throwing that out.
Nobody's throwing that out. And you know, if you've never done it, we can help you.
It's true.
Right? I mean,
it's true.
We're all about locking arms with one another and helping elevate each other's game.
I love it.
That's what we do.
I absolutely love it, you know, and your work ethic is impeccable. I'm such a fan, you know, just you work in your own way.
I do.
It's the super T way. We won't get into the super T way today. However, it gets the job done, you know, and being an entrepreneur, the beauty of being an entrepreneur, you don't have these strict timelines, you don't have this like 9 to 5, you don't have the grind, you don't have to drive through this crazy Toronto rush hour traffic heading to work anymore. You know, you can operate at 4 in the morning if you want, you know?
You know what, it's truly living the dream.
It is.
Right?
It is.
I mean, I'm somebody, I don't know if it's recognizable with yourself or even on camera, but I'm somebody who has a lot of passion.
You, come on. Is it true?
And you can't contain that.
No.
Right? Nobody's passion or interest or love should be contained in an 8-hour time day.
It's true.
That's nuts.
It's true, you know.
Right? We all have different times that we shine brighter, right? Being an entrepreneur and doing what you love, you pick your time zone and shine as bright as you can shine.
One of the things that entrepreneurs have the biggest challenge of, especially new startups and small business owners, is capital. Let's just call it what it is, money, okay?
Right.
Let's talk about money for a second. How does somebody monetize, let's say, an anthology chapter or their own book? Why are they actually writing it from a business perspective?
Well, I tell you, I mean, every entrepreneur has, you know, for lack of better words, a toolbox that they use, right? Whether it be you're a speaker or you have a business or whatever, having a book in your toolbox is so powerful. You know, how you can monetize that, it elevates your game.
It does.
It elevates your credibility.
Big time.
So whatever you're selling, you know, be it, you know, a workshop, a course, whatever, that book elevates your game. So you can in fact sell the book at your events or at your location or what have you.
Yeah.
You can use that book to elevate sales of other products that are in that same space. And you know, you can use the book even to elevate online sales.
True.
There's nothing that can't be elevated by the use of a book.
You know, one of the things they say is it positions you as an expert in your space. You know, and the more niche you become in your space, when you utilize that book as a positioning tool, rumor has it that your speaking rates double. Is that true?
I would absolutely imagine yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, we have a speakers agency, you know, that's just in the process of, you know, launching, and we're really, really excited to have these speakers come on board. And the unique thing is a lot of these speakers want books, and a lot of the writers that we're working with want to speak. So it's like a perfect marriage. It's a perfect harmony of the two.
Absolutely. You know, and it comes down to your voice.
It does.
Right? Whether you're voiced on a mic or voiced with a pen and paper. It's your voice.
It's your voice.
You know, and that's the magic. They complement each other.
It ultimately comes down to the message, you know. So the message, you know, one of my good friends, Tony Robbins' son, Jarek Robbins, I asked him, I was dropping him off at the airport a little while ago, and I asked him, I said, hey, you know, what is the best vehicle to get your message out? Is it speaking? And he's like, you know what, it's not about speaking, it's VAC, visual, audio, kinesthetic. Everybody learns differently. So how is it that, you know, we get this message across when we're just speaking? You need to write, you need to speak, you need to be an internet marketer, you need to be a coach. Everybody perceives differently.
Yeah.
So
and they all reinforce each other, right?
They certainly do. They certainly do. And it's nice to have that toolbox, like you were suggesting, you know, full. Yeah. So on a final note, you know, let's talk a little bit about what's next for Tracey. Where's she going? You're a firecracker. You know, what's up? It's always something new coming up.
You know what? Absolutely. I'm very much of the belief that I just say yes. Right? I operate in a very open heart manner.
Yeah.
So, you know, as the more we say yes and the more we operate open, the more that seems to come in.
It's true.
You know, if someone were to say, what are you going to do 5 years from now? My answer would be, I don't know, but it's going to be fabulous.
I love it. I love it.
You know, I mean, each day people come into our lives.
It's true.
And if you take the moments and you enjoy that person and that conversation, there can be give and take on both ways.
Yes.
If I spend my days trying to elevate other people, that comes full circle back around. And that's
so
not
true.
my intention, but it's just the way the universe works.
I love
right?
it.
So if I can spend my days, you know, taking what I know and helping other people elevate their game,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to
I
my
elevate
future.
you, Tracey.
I elevate you.
Thank you
James.
so much for being on the show, and I'm sure we'll see you when you come out of hibernation from this anthology series.
Indeed you will.
Wasn't that awesome? Tracey McLeod. You can find her and communicate with her at info@dynamoentrepreneur.com. Whether you want to write a book or you want to get involved with some of our creative projects, have your business card, your logo, even your very own TV show. Give us a shout. You know what to do. Welcome back to the Dynamo Show. I am the chief architect of WOW for this organization that supports small business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs just like yourself in living well and doing good. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special guest here with us today. His name is Steve Kerr. Steve, how are you doing, my friend? So good to see you.
Man. You know, you and I were beyond a handshake now.
It is true. It is true. Wow, you're looking good, man. You know, what's the secret to staying so young?
Well, I have 7 wonderful children that keeps me looking and feeling young.
Wow, 7. That's a small army.
Yes, it is a small army.
Yeah. And I heard, you know, your high school sweetheart, even beyond that, I think it was, what, grade 6 you were sharing with me the other day?
Yes, actually, my queen bee, we
How's
met,
she doing?
and she's doing excellent.
Good,
she's doing
good.
fantastic.
Send her my love.
I shall do that. I shall do that.
Right on. Well, I mean, I've heard a rumor that you've been together for what, like 25 years now?
Yes, we just
What's the
celebrated.
secret?
We just celebrated 25-year anniversary, April 27th, and I would equate the secret is communication.
True.
We just have a simple
So
fundamental
important.
principle. We don't go to bed angry. And so we talk things out. So it's really about communication.
It's a good principle to have.
Yes, it is.
Very true,
Yeah.
very true. So, you know, I know you're a specialist in life coaching. So
Yes.
for our viewers, would you kindly share with them a little bit about life coaching and what a specialist in that field actually is?
Yes. Well, essentially, when you think about a coach, you take it to the athletic arena. A coach is an individual that has the perspective of what's going on the field, and the coach's job is to build that team together to become a champion. So now when you take it to a life coach, essentially, I want to help you become the champion in your life, in every aspect, in every facet of your life. So whether it be your personal goals, whether it be your business goals, whether it be relationship goals, a life coach will help you to achieve those things.
Yeah, very true, very true. And I know a bunch of your clients that are just doing amazing things. You know, you must be guiding them in a way that just leading them to these fantastic results. You know, the feedback I get about you is just phenomenal.
Yes.
We're honored to be working with you. You know, we're working on a spiritual engagement division together,
Yes.
and I'm so excited about it, you know, in a really broad sense of the word. We can get into that on another show.
Yeah.
However, what I want to talk to you about today is your storytelling. You know,
Okay.
you are a magical storyteller. I've seen you in action. I've seen people sitting on the edge of their chair listening to you, listening to every syllable. And the exciting part is not only the content of what you're saying, but it's the context of your delivery.
Yes.
Okay? Would you kindly share why it's so important to have a very distinct context of delivery? Why are you so animated when you speak?
Well, that's part of the skill of telling a story, actually, is to have a dramatic pause, to utilize the mobility of your body and so forth, and to captivate the audience. And I've been doing it quite some time. Matter of fact, I started when I was 9 years old,
Wow.
James. Essentially, our family got together 3 times a year, you know, the Christmas thing, the Thanksgiving, and sometimes, you know, a picnic. And everybody had different skills and talents. The cook, he spent time cooking for 100 people. The singer will sing and entertain us with their music. But they pointed at me and says, you're going to be the MC. You're going to tell the commercials and between skits and so forth. So I had to be real creative. And you got to know, James, your family, they're your greatest critics.
Yes,
and so
it's true.
from the age of 9 up until the age of 48, where I literally told them, I can't do this anymore because I just got so busy. But I've been doing it for a long time.
You become the elder now. You have your own built-in choir of 7 choir kids. You know,
You got that right.
Doing your own thing.
Yes,
you know?
and that's what I'm saying. I'm telling them right now they need to transfer it to one of my children who's doing a great job, which is Brittany Rosemarie. That's my
Brittany. I
yes,
know.
she's my third-born child.
Why don't you tell us about the athletes in the family? I know
Yes,
you're very proud of that.
Yes, I am very proud of them.
Yeah.
I have 2 athletes in the family. One, Naomi Katira, and also Jeremiah Kerr. They're both doing well right now. Naomi's going through a transitional phase right now where she's kind of questioning if she wants to keep running for the Olympics, and you know 2016 is the year for that. But Jared right now, he just finished his 2nd year of University of Maryland on a full ride scholarship, and he's actually ranked in the top 3 in Canada right now at the long jump. He actually broke the school record just back in March, jumping 776.
Wow.
I'm very proud of him.
And I know you were an athlete in the past. You know, care to share a little bit about that?
Well, actually, I have to change you on that, George. James. When
you know what? Can we cut back to something, because he threw a date in there, 2016.
Oh yeah.
We gotta somehow either take or cut back somehow somewhere. Because if we play this, when we play this in 2020, it's going to be so 2016.
Yeah, the Olympics. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah. Where would you like me to start from?
Let me just start by talking about you. You mentioned that I have some athletes, and then I started to talk about my kids at that point.
They're cutting back and forth, so they can cut me in at a certain point. Yeah, so so the one where I say, so I know that you have a couple of athletes in the family? Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you actually have a couple of athletes in the family. Care to share a little bit about those two?
Yes, my daughter Naomi, she's actually a 100-meter specialist and a 200-meter specialist, and she's training for the Olympics. And also my son Jared, who actually this year, he actually jumped 776 and became the top 3 jumpers in Canada.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yes, and we're very proud of both of them.
Send my congratulations.
Yes, yes, and he also is an entrepreneur. He's in school for business.
Oh, I love it, taking after his pops.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
They grew up seeing dad working hard, being an entrepreneur.
Now being a storyteller as a speaker is one thing, but I know you have a passion for writing. You have a book. Why don't you care to share a little bit about your book, the title of the book? What is it about? What are the nuggets of wisdom in there that the reader's going to get from that?
Okay. Well, this is a great segue to I brought a gift for you.
What?
And yeah, I got a shirt for you. Yeah, and I want you to just take a look at it right now. You can see it says, "Who am I?"
I love it.
You could see that there's 3 people upside down and 3 right side up, and they're all connected together.
Listen to the eyes.
Yes, they form eyes, and if you really pan back, you could actually see the shape of a face as well. So it's really showing that when we get together, we create another picture, which is another masterpiece. And so the book is really based on the principle of you are the sum total of words. So which words do you personify? So when you really think about that, James, every person really chooses what words that they want people to see them as, their image, their character, their personality. So I really designed the question mark, and as you can see, the question mark is imperfect. And it's for a reason, because aren't we all like that? We just have a few bumps and bruises here, but inside now you have words, and these are the words that I want to personify: excellence and extraordinary and unique and masterpiece. And of course, you see down here, billionaire.
Bada boom.
There you go. And
like
so this
that.
is
Destiny,
my gift. This is my
right
gift
here.
to you, James, because I know that you're doing some great things, and I know that you want to get to those status, not because you want to be sitting on a mountain of wealth, but because you just know the more wealth you have is the more you can give to the world.
The more you can enable.
Yes.
The more you are enabled to enable.
Yeah.
I love it. That is awesome, Steve. Thank you so much. And does this tie into your book?
Yes, it ties into my book because I'm launching the shirts, and then the book is going to be released later this year. And so I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And, I had a list of titles and, trying to be real deep and intricate and so forth. But I remembered something. When my 15-year-old daughter came to me one day, I was running the janitorial company, very successful.
I remember.
I moved from zero to hero, meaning I got it up to making, 6-figure income.
Is that actually in your book?
Yes.
Yeah,
This is one of the stories in my book. And so one day, my daughter just walked up behind me. She was 15 years old at the time. And she said, "Daddy, why did you start a cleaning business?" Now, that particular time, it's been so long I've been doing the business, James, I didn't remember why. So I actually had to go back and think about it. And then I remember when my brother came to me, and I wanted to get into business. I was in, a computer firm climbing up the corporate ladder. And my brother just made a proposal to me that I said, you know what? It was convenient to move. And so I shifted, and then I became an entrepreneur back in 1988. And then I've just been an entrepreneur ever since that. And so here's my daughter asking me this question now. So one day I looked in the mirror and I asked myself, who am I?
Who am I?
Because I realized making the money I wasn't happy, James. I was feeling unfulfilled.
You wanted more.
I wanted
something
more.
else. There was a calling.
Yes. So society calls it a a career change. But I really call it, as you said, soul searching. And it took me on a 4-month journey to come to where I am now. And so I decided to write about the process because I realized there's a lot of people out there, James, that is looking for their identity. They're looking for their purpose and their passion. So and you and I both know that you can monetize anything.
You can.
Just long as you're passionate about
it's about
it.
tuning into it.
Yes, tuning into it. And of course,
speaking of that, we're going to take a short commercial break with our viewers.
All right.
And we are going to tune back in with Mr. Steve Kerr right after this short commercial break. Thank you. Thank you for tuning back into the Dynamo Show with our guest, Steve Kerr. You know, speaking of tuning into abundance with the laws of attraction, like attracts like. Mr. Steve Kerr here and I, we've attracted one another. We were actually at an event, and what was that event?
This is your world too.
Yes.
And it's, that was the 5th year, and it's just gathering a bunch of young people and then helping them to find their direction with careers and purpose and so forth. Yes.
Yeah. And you were one of the speakers there. That's when I seen you do all the little dance and stuff.
Yeah, I was one of the speakers.
You know, I was so fascinated. Like who is this Steve Kerr guy, right? And I obviously saw you in action. And then when we were sitting around the tables discussing what we do with the youngsters, you happened to tune in and heard a little bit about Dynamo. Take it from there.
And I got to tell you, I was just completely mesmerized and blown away at the system in which you showed me. Because essentially what you were showing me was, you were showing me a plethora of industries that are multi-million that you've actually incorporated under one umbrella. And now you have 10 divisions, and each of these 10 divisions are standalone industries. I just said, I want to be a part of this. And so I'm grateful that you brought me on board, and, you know, to help speakers grow. And, you know, we know that writing a book is the new business card. So these speakers that are out there, you know, they can come along, Dynamo Entrepreneur, they could home in on their speaking ability. We're going to bask from each other's skills and so forth, because I actually teach people to overcome the fear of public speaking. Because, you know, the fear of public speaking, the fear is greater than the fear of death.
It's up there.
The fear of death is actually 19% less than the fear of public speaking.
You know, the great thing about public speaking, though, it can be such an affluent career.
Yes.
You know, it's not too many that actually make it through to the really high ranks, but, you know, you can make such a fantastic living doing it. You know, and you're doing it in a way where you're giving of your heart, you know, you're giving that information in your head, those nuggets of wisdom that come through the experience of life.
Yes.
We all wear different hats in life. We all play different roles to get to this very moment. And we all know that this is really the only moment that exists. So to make this moment the best moment ever is the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself every single moment. Speaking of moments, a few moments ago, you happened to play a couple different roles. I know you happen to be a pastor, and I know you happen to run for politics in a small city called Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Care to share a little bit about that campaign?
Yes, well, I decided to put my name in the hat and run because I do believe in engaging and being civically responsible. And I found myself a mentor named Garnet Manning, and he took me aside and says, you know what, Steve, you need to step up to the plate and engage the people as a candidate. And so that's what I did. Now, I came 6th in my first time out, but I really won because I made so much contacts and learned so much. And then the following tenure after, I ran, and I'm the runner-up. I came 2nd.
Nice, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, so what did you learn?
Oh gosh, I learned so much, but I recognized the importance of participating in the electorate process, because it is through government that really makes a city run and transition and change. So if you really want your city to be thriving in any direction, you got to be a part of the process. So you either got to run or you got to vote as well.
So let's you know, for argument's sake, let's make up this magical city. Steve Kerr is now the mayor of Magical City.
Yes.
What would be some of the universally broad, you know, things that you would put in place to make for, you know, a city of unity and diversity and multiculturalism and whatever's close and dear to your heart?
Well,
what does your city look like, Steve?
Well, I can tell you, there's 2 main things I would say, James, that will definitely be in my city and the forefront. The number one is e-commerce. You definitely have to have a thriving industry of entrepreneurship. When I was campaigning, a lot of people was coming up to me and saying, we need jobs, create jobs, create jobs. And I started to look at them and I started to say, that job is actually in you. You need to be an entrepreneur and create that job. So that's number one.
Yeah, love it.
Entrepreneurship has got to be thriving and alive and well. Secondary, we have the education. You need to have a standalone university that's housing at least 20 to 40,000 youth, because that is the engine that allows an economy to roll over with international students coming in.
Nice.
Statistics show that 60% of the students, after they finish their 4-year program, they actually will reside in the city where the university is. they won't go back home for where they came from. So if you have a university inside your city is going to grow exponentially.
Fantastic for the economy. You know, just out of curiosity, how many of those students, what percentage would you say actually turn out to become entrepreneurs? Is that something that you think they should teach in high schools? Do you think that's something that should be more, you know, broadly taught?
I do agree. We're coming from the old school where, you know, you got to get a good education and you know, the professors got to get paid, and so they're telling you that. But really and truly, the greatest education is really what we're doing right now and pouring into each other. You have the library there. Now, I'm not saying anything negative towards a college or university. No, I'm just saying that you definitely need to think more entrepreneurship, more so than just working for somebody.
Oh my God, it's so true. You know, I've been in both roles. You know, the job or the just over broke. You know, how some of these motivational speakers call it.
Right.
And lining the pockets of others. You know, and when I truly made that leap into the entrepreneurial sector, you know, there's a few things that need to be in place, such as the discipline and your time management. You know, and you get those down to a science or an art form, whatever you want to call it. It's magical. You know, you wake up when you want to wake up, or you stay up when you want to stay up. You know, you're as driven, you write your own paycheck, you know, and within the industries like the speaking industry or becoming an author, but we all know you're not going to get rich becoming an author. An author, you know, or a book is to position you to you know, be that expert in the space, or to position your campaign when you're running for X or X as a launching pad. But it's just such a beautiful industry, you know, and I know you're a big fan of entrepreneurialism and have been for a long time. If you were to give, let's say, three tips to some of the entrepreneurs out there, where to start? How do they start? Let's say they're in a job. Okay. And they want to take that leap, you know, like we all have, like you did from your janitorial company.
Right.
You know, what do they do? Where do they start?
Well, the key thing is this: you could be successful in any industry. Because if you take a look at the shirt that you're wearing now, somebody became a multimillionaire with that shirt. Fair to say? You have jewelry. Somebody became a multimillionaire with jewelry, shoes. Everything is a multi-million-dollar industry. The key thing, James, is passion and purpose. You have to discover what your skill sets are, to discover your purpose, and then passion. Now, with those two things, you take massive action.
Love it, two of my favorite words.
Got to take massive action. Now, if you take it from the concept of a farmer, you give a farmer a bag of seeds and you give him 10 acres of land, he now have the tools of prosperity. But if he doesn't take massive action, if he doesn't go to that field and cultivate that field, if he doesn't take the time to go buy some manure and mix that manure with the soil, it's a stinky job. But 6 months down the road, the harvest, people are lining up for your harvest, of course, because your crops is at maturity. So you may have a bag of seeds and you may have the field, but until you put the process together, you won't be successful. And so that's really the catalyst of being an entrepreneur, is getting all the pieces together, and that will equal your success.
The grass is the greenest where you water it.
Most definitely.
Maybe that's one of the secrets for your success in a beautiful 25-year marriage with 7 lovely children.
Yes.
Watering the grass, you know. You turn your back on the grass, what happens, you know?
It dries up.
It shrivels and dries up,
Yes.
you know. And that's a great note for everybody out there, whether you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, leader, speaker, author, internet coach, or just, you know, a person that's working in a corporate job. You know, when we focus on making whatever that position is, the best that we can be in that position. I'll give you an example. Robin Sharma, he wrote a book called Lead Without a Title. You know, I'm such a fan, big fan of Robin. And it's so important, relevant of what you do. A janitor, okay, let's say you're a janitor, or you're an assistant to somebody, or you're a farmer, or you're a gardener, or a carpenter, whatever it is. You know, or an entrepreneur like us. You know, leading without a title, making sure that you're proud in that role, and making sure that you're doing your best to deliver your absolute best. You put your head to rest at night, that you're a good person, keep your eye on the prize, trust the process. We call it the bamboo effect, right? Especially with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, like you said, they plant all these seeds. Like the farmer, they're planting the seeds, but eventually, you know, with them, maybe it's a few months. With entrepreneurs, they say it's 5 years. It's a 5-year cycle. But what happens? Boom. it just explodes. And that's what's
Exponentially.
happening now with Dynamo. It's just
Yes.
like a rocket ship, and we're all like hanging on, and
Right,
it's just
right.
such a lovely thing.
Yes.
So on a final note, Steve, I wanted to ask you, if you care to share a very short, maybe 30-second or 1-minute story.
Right.
Share with the audience. What makes you so magical?
Well, listen, you're right now sitting down and you've probably heard 100 times that you are born to win. Well, I got news for you. You've been hoodwinked. There's something greater than that. Now, you were born, but before you were born, you were a speck. It's called a sperm. And that sperm, it had a race to get to somewhere, down the fallopian tube to that egg. Now, when you got there was other little sperms there too. And they were wiggling and they were trying to get penetration through that egg. But guess what? You broke through first. You broke through and causing something to be released and shut everybody else out. So what am I trying to tell you? You won. Yes, you won. So when you hear people tell you you were born to win, no, you were not born to win. Because you won, you were born. Long before you broke out of the womb, you won. That means your DNA comes from winning. That means you are destined for success. Remember that. You were not born to win. Because you won, you were born.
Yeah. Awesome, my friend.
Sweet.
One fellow sperm to another,
Yeah.
2 winners here, I absolutely love it.
For sure.
Thank you so much, Steve, for coming
Yeah.
on the show today. It's been an honor. I'm sure we're going to do some magical work together. I'm
Most
very
definitely.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Dynamo Show. Check out DynamoEntrepreneur.com. You can check out the 10 divisions that our friend Steve here was talking about. We are going to see you on episode 3. Namaste.